I think York should remember its heritage. Like, I mean, it's the kind of a city that every place you turn, even if it's in like a suburb, there's some kind of historic place.
I think York should remember its Viking history because there's quite a lot of it, and the Jorvik Museum is quite good for remembering that.
I really enjoy the Viking history and all of the museums around here.
York should remember the bar walls because they include the whole city.
The city walls, which are such an important part of what the city looks like.
I was proposed to on the city walls, I said yes, so they're a really special part of my experience of living in the city.
You can see the Minster from the back of the walls.
The Minster because it symbolises the city and it's a beautiful building.
The skyline of York is still dominated by the Minster, as it has been for hundreds of years, and you can't say that about pretty much any other city in this country now. There's high-rises virtually everywhere else. So I think that's my favourite thing about York, the fact that the first thing you see when you're approaching is always the Minster.
Because it's such a historic building and it's got such incredible architecture. There's not many buildings like that left really in England.
It's such an iconic landmark.
Well, as a student of medieval studies, it's quite an easy question. It's the amazing medieval heritage that York has.
Well, just everything that goes on in King's Manor, because it's just like an amazing history that went on there. Because I go to the University of York, I sometimes get to have lectures and seminars in there, and it was really interesting learning about Henry VIII.
The houses, the timber-framed houses, which are amazing.
York should remember the railways because it was and is such an important railway centre. And when George Hudson said, "Make all the railways come to York," it had a significant effect.
Chocolate's really important just because Rowntree's and Terry's were born here, so when Terry's chocolate factory shut down a few years ago, the whole smell of York disappeared because there was no longer a smell wafting through in the morning of nice chocolate, and it's just a shame it went, really.
It's layered on other things as well. When you think the present York station is built on a Roman burial ground, there's so much interwoven in our history, but you've got to remember the railways.
History and culture, I don't know much about the history and culture. I guess most people come for that. I just come because it's a lovely city with a river running through it.
As well as the small, cute, unique shops and cafes they have, like the arts and crafts one and the fudge shop.
York's got some great coffee shops and restaurants, and it's got a really lovely sort of, scene going on up here.
It seems to be a hub for creative people as well, which is one of the reasons why I like York.
And I think just the whole sort of atmosphere and definitely how friendly it is.
York should remember all the amazing cycling that you can do around here. I love to cycle out to the countryside around here. Cycling around York is really fun as well. It's one of my favourite things about living up here.
And green places like this, it's nice, all the green areas. For all it's a city, you come somewhere like this and you would have no idea that this was almost in the heart of a thriving city.
I particularly sat in Rowntree's Park, was remembering when they had the swimming baths here. The open-air swimming baths was very, very popular, very noisy, and it was very good for parents and to bring the youngsters.
All the gardens, I think, the big open spaces, museum gardens as well. I think they're just kind of really important to the city. They give a nice feel to it.
Museum gardens because it's what brings the city together.
It is a very vibrant city. Lots of different cultures as well because of the visitors.
Wherever you are in York, there's an amazing community spirit, and it's something that communities seem to build very easily.
One of my big concerns about our culture and heritage is the fact that so many pubs are closing. So I'm quite active on preserving our pub culture. I think it's really, really important. There's not many community facilities left like those now for people to actually get together and share their experience. So I think pubs are extremely important and worth fighting for.
One of my favourite things about York is that the library service is independent, which I think is a very important thing in preserving the heritage of the city.
It's very easy to kind of walk through the city and say, oh, that's just the Minster, or that's just the Shambles. But when you really think about that it's still there and it's still so vibrant and present.
Well, I think that what's really fantastic about York is the way that we're surrounded by ancient history, but yet we we experience it all the time by walking on the walls, by walking around the parks, going to visit the Minster. So really we're remembering it in 2015 as it is today.
But York, yeah, got a lot of history in it. There's a lot to remember.
So I think it should remember just how many different things have come together to make it what it is and was and will be in the future.
We're surrounded by ancient history.
Built on a Roman burial ground.
Viking history,
The city walls.
They include the whole city.
the Minster because it symbolises the city.
Such an iconic landmark.
King's Manor.
The houses, the timber framed houses, which are amazing.
Preserving our pub culture.
Chocolate's really important.
But you've got to remember the railways.
Museums around here.
York should remember its heritage.
Such incredible architecture.
Smell wafting through in the morning.
Because it's a lovely city.
Small, cute, unique shop.
A hub for creative people.
Cycling around York is really fun as well.
It's nice, all the green areas.
Big open spaces like museum gardens as well.
It's what brings the city together.
Amazing community spirit.
The library service.
Just the shambles.
It is a very vibrant city.